question to Coach Goodenough. To be able to bounce back after the loss against Sam Houston, how big was that for your team, especially in pretty dominant fashion in your guys' case?
Yeah, we had a long 48 hours after the Sam game. I don't think there was any question that Sam out-toughed us on some possessions, and that was the first time that happened all year to us. That's not the identity of this team, and it happened, though. We had to be truth tellers, look ourselves in the mirror, and we had to bounce back. I thought our guys did a good job. Thursday and Friday's practice weren't a whole lot of fun, those when you face adversity like that, sometimes in times of crisis, you want some uncomfortable people being uncomfortable, and we were. And with adversity comes some opportunity. Now, some of our adversity was nothing we could do about it. We obviously went to the Sam game and found out 24 hours before that Corey Allen was going to be out. And then in the game early, Manny went down for the season with an ACL. So there was some adversity that happened, and some things that happened in that game and kind of threw us off the rocker. But we don't make excuses, in our program. And so I knew our guys would bounce back. They practiced great Thursday and Friday. It was the first time they've been tested in that kind of environment, and they bounced back and played a really good Central Arkansas team. I know the score probably doesn't look like that, but that team can really score the basketball. They've got a lot of offensive weapons. They have a ton of size, and they've played good basketball. They've obviously been battling some injuries as well, to the losing their point guard. So, but I definitely thought Saturday we were the tougher team, and that's what we wanted to have happen.
I asked you a little while ago about Colton, and you say he's one of the hardest workers you've ever seen. Now, as a veteran of this group, redshirt senior, how much has he really taken a leadership role?
Yeah, I was just kidding with him in there, but if we can get him to play as hard as he did on Saturday, it's pretty easy for him. He only has to play the first half. He can take the second half off, So, when he's playing that way and he's the focal point of our offense and we're getting him the basketball, we're tough to defend on that end. But it goes both ways. Our guards have to do a good job of finding him and when he's open, because he's drawing a lot of attention down there, and then he has to continue to work for the basketball. And in the Sam game, I think there was a lot of possessions where our bigs didn't work for the basketball. They quit working, and then there were some possessions our guards didn't find them, and that goes hand in hand, And so I thought we did a much better job in practice Thursday and Friday with that, and Saturday we did a much better job of getting the ball inside. But Colton is. I've said this multiple times on the record. I'm as proud of him as any player that I've ever coached. He's worked really hard behind the scenes to become a player he is. I think he's the best big in the Southland Conference, and he's on our team, and we're excited about that. He just has to continue to fight consistency with that, and doing that. Colton's the nicest kid off the floor. If I had a daughter, he could definitely date my daughter. He would be number one on the list to date my daughter, but we need him when he gets between the lines to become tougher, and do some toughness things, and he has for the majority of the season, and he just needs to continue to do that.
All right, let's talk game Wednesday. Last couple of years, UNSFA have been at or near the top of the league standings. This year, no different, of course. How big is this one, and what's the feeling going into it?
Yeah, it's round, what are we on, round 6 now? What are we, 5-1 or 4-1? 4-1, so it's round 6 here, and we've had a tough stretch. We've gone to Sam undefeated at their place. We played Central Arkansas, a good offensive team on a quick turnaround here, and now we're playing another undefeated team. So it's been a tough 3-game stretch, and we've had a lot of adversity happen this week. And so I think our guys will be ready. We have a ton of respect for SFA. It starts at the top of their staff. They have an incredible staff. They're very well coached. Coach Keller does a great job. Jeremy Cox, Wade Mason, those guys are veterans, been around a long time. Those guys are extremely well coached, and then they got real players. They got really, really good talent. They've got guys that can really score the basketball, and then obviously they defend at a high level. So anytime you play SFA, it comes down to taking care of the basketball offensively is the number one thing. You got to be able to get in your offense and not turn the basketball over and get them easy baskets. And then on the other end, you got to be able to rebound the basketball. So it's a toughness thing, physicality thing when you play SFA. So, I know our guys have been in the locker room a long time. We have a veteran team that's played these guys a ton. They understand the challenge that's ahead of them. And we have 2 days here to prepare for it. But I think it's going to be a great college basketball game. I think you got two really good teams playing against each other, and that's what you sign up for. Is to play in these type of games. So I know our guys will be ready. We don't look at standings around here in January. We don't start looking at that stuff till kind of mid-February. I think everything kind of starts working itself out. But to this point, they're coming in here undefeated, and we have a tough task ahead of us.
That mental shift, that momentum shift, if you will, going from that loss to obviously winning the way you guys did against Central, now going into this matchup. Where is your team mentally?
I think we're in a great spot. I think we've been in a great spot all year. I just think it was the first time that we lost 2 games to that point, but they were to Texas Tech and Arkansas. I think those are 2 top 25 teams in the country, and we played well in both those games. But that was the first game I thought at Sam that we just got out-toughed on some stuff, on some 50-50 balls, on some culture things that we believe in, and our team has been really good to that point, and it happened. And we didn't feel like at that point it was time to shake the tree or change the starting lineup or do anything. These guys deserve the opportunity to continue doing it, but we were going to call it out in practice, and we're going to get back to us. And sometimes in a long season, that happens. You get comfortable, and you lose the chip on your shoulder a little bit, or you lose the things that make you successful. And now it wasn't that way for 40 minutes at Sam, but there was definitely some possessions and some things that happened. And so, the easy thing to look back is say, hey, man, we didn't have Corey on, and we didn't have Manny, and that was the first time we didn't have it. We weren't prepared for it, but those are all excuses, every team has adversity they're fighting, and so you gotta put those excuses aside, and you got to get back to who you are. And I thought we did that. And then you saw guys step up. Tobias got an opportunity and played well. Makai's getting an opportunity. He's played well. And it's going to make us better when we get Corey on back in the lineup. And so to your point, I think we're in a good spot. I think our guys are confident. I think our guys know that we have a good basketball team, but our guys also understand that when we don't play the way we're supposed to play or do some things the way we're supposed to do some things, that we can get beat. And we've seen that early in conference play. Houston Baptist, we had a 16-point lead. We got away from some things that we believe in, and the next thing you know, you're in a 1 or 2 possession game. You go to Sam, and we get away from some things that we believe in, and Sam beat us. So our guys understand that, they know that, and I don't have to really remind them very often.
We asked Coach Goodenough this too, and obviously as we head into February, the concept of identity, figuring out the identity or already knowing what the identity is. Where is this team?
Yeah, I think we've had our identity, and I think that's a good thing. This identity has been in our program for a while, and I think these guys are really good, and I think that got established early in the season. I think it all starts for us on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to be really good defensively. I think we're one of the better defensive teams in the country. It starts on that end of the floor. We're going to try to turn you over and try to get some easy baskets. It's so hard to score in college basketball today in the half court. So that's our identity. And then on the offensive end, we're going to pound that thing inside. It starts with our bigs. We got really good bigs. Teams guard us different ways in there, but we have to do a better job of getting the ball inside. And it can also be our guards playing off the bounce, and touching paint and opening up some shots for some other guys. And the way you've seen people play us lately, there's no secret they're backing off of us and they're daring us to shoot some shots. And so we want our guys to play with confidence. We want to shoot the basketball. I still feel like we're a good shooting team, but we want it to be the right threes. We want it to be the threes within our offense. We don't want to just make one pass and just jack. So we have to understand the feel of the game because the more we get it inside, the better the look we have. And it's a three that we practice all the time. Now, obviously, guys like Clay Gaiman, he's got the green light to shoot that sucker whenever he wants, but we gotta find some opportunities for some different guys to get some better looks.
Again, just talking about the three-point shooting, I think that really summarized a lot about last week. You shoot one of the low shooting percentages at Sam from the three-point line, then you go make 12 threes. Last game, it's the second most of the season. How important is that perimeter shot going to be going throughout the rest of the
game? I do think it's important. Anytime in today's game when you can hit threes, especially when you guard the way we guard, we have a tendency to stretch the lead when that happens. Here's the deal, Owen. I've said this from day one with these guys. We got guys that can shoot the basketball. We don't tell them not to shoot. We just got to find the right shots within our offense. And when we're taking those shots, it goes in for us. When we're taking shots that we don't work on or shots that are forced, then those have a tendency to not go in. And when you take those shots early and then the ball doesn't go in, then it seems like that rim gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So I think it's really key for us just to take the right shots. And if we take the right shots early, those shots will go in. You go back to the game against Central. We did not shoot the ball great the first half, but they were the right shots. We were getting the right shots, and we knew if we continued to take the right shots, they would go in. Very similar to a Lamar game that was here. The first half did not go in. The second half, those shots went in. So the key for us, I think, is just to continue to take the right shots.
Taking a look at Corian, obviously banged up. How's he recovering? When can we expect?
Well, he's doing better. He had I guess he was a fashion model on Saturday. Man, we had some sunglasses on the bench. We're going to put a halt to that. That's not. I don't really think we need sunglasses on the bench, but he's doing better. He's headed in the right direction. Those things are tricky, as we all know. So we'll see here in the next 3 days here leading up to SFA what all he can do. But I know he's heading in the right direction. He'll be back soon, whether that's Wednesday or whether that's this weekend. But I think he's getting closer to getting back. And so we just want to make sure he's completely 100% before we get him back in there.
Last question for you. What are a couple of things that your team has to execute come Wednesday to come out on top?
I think again, most important thing offensively is take care of the basketball. I think, heck, there was a game, was it last year or 2 years ago, we both had 30 turnovers in the game. I just think both teams are so good defensively, and they take you out of what you want to do. We cannot turn the ball over. We've been really good the last month of taking care of the basketball, and we've had, last night was 29 assists, 12 turnovers, I think it was. And the other night we had 12. Even Sam game was a low turnover game. We've got to take care of the basketball offensively. And Sam's going to come in here and try to turn us over. There's no secret in that. We've got to take care of the basketball. And then on the defensive end, can we rebound the basketball? They've got some size, some athleticism, some toughness on that end of the floor. They have guys that go to the glass. They're relentless and go in the glass, and we have to get them off the glass. So I think those are the two biggest keys. And then I think anytime you play Stephen F. Owen, it's always about physicality and toughness and matching that with them.